Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to our Divi feature update live, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. Right, so today I'm really excited because we are talking about our latest feature, which is the Divi custom field integration for Bloom and also email opt-in module. So, and also what is really exciting is our email opt-in is also Gdpr ready. And I'm sure quite a lot of you were concerned about this. And I also have some features as well to update you with regarding GDPR. And this will be later on in the show. Right, so I can see quite a lot of you have already tuned in, which is very exciting. And wow, that's a lot of people here. Let's see. We have Ratapula was the first one actually to sign in. So that's really cool. She's for Ratapula is from Spain. We also have Uncle Social. Nice to see you. We have Joel, Manuj. We have Uncle Social is from the north of England. Fantastic, fantastic. Right. So we also have Costas. We have Sheikh Hidayat, I think, from Kuwait. We have D Card. Oh, there's quite a lot of you here. Manuj, we also have Nang 2000, Melissa, we have Susanna, Henry. Oh, Henny, sorry, not Henry, Henny. We also have Air Sonu Sinai, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Please forgive me. I'm just really excited here. Let's take a look. Who else is here? We have M. Kadar. We have Tini from Netherlands. Bad Surface as well is from Germany. Fantastic. All right, so I can't get. I'm really excited to get this show started, and also we are broadcasting on Facebook as well. So if you're on Facebook, please do add your comments on there, and I'm just going to check here if there's anything. We have Grant Joyce from South Africa. Nice to see you. We have Atif. We also have Aaron. We also have Vanessa Choi saying hello as well. Brilliant. Okay. So here's the deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by talking about this custom field integration. So what this is we are able now to create custom fields in your email autoresponder provider of choice, be it Mailchimp, ConvertKit, and so on. So if you create your custom fields there, they can easily be now matched to our email opt-in and also Bloom. So I'll be showing you how to do this. And in this example, I'll be using Mailchimp. Okay, so let's head over to Mailchimp and let me show you how to set up these custom fields. Okay. And by the way, if you have any questions, please do add your questions in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to respond to those. Right. Okay. So I have a Mailchimp account here that I haven't used in a very long time, but this will do for our example today. Okay, so what you want to do is to come over here to your lists. So these are the lists that I have, and you can always create a brand new one here by going to create list. Now, what I'm showing here in Mailchimp, you can also replicate this in your autoresponder service of your choice. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to this free online marketing tips. And then I'm going to come to signups, form builder. Right. So this is where you can add all your custom fields. So what I've done here is, in fact, before I explain what I did, let me just explain the scenario that you would want to add this custom field. So, you know, when you get these pop-up forms, forms that on your website, normally they just say, sign up for our newsletter, and then it has a space for email and then a button to say sign up. Now, what if you can actually make this a bit more exciting by saying, right, sign up for our mailing list, okay, and then let us know which information you'd like to receive. So if you have a website which has, let's say, both tutorials and you give out recipes, you can actually segment that by saying in the options, sign up for either a free ebook or free recipes. Okay, so you can give those options, and what happens is when someone chooses that option, when this data is sent to your email autoresponder provider, it segments these. So next time you send an email, you can actually specify where these emails need to go. So what I've done here is I've done an example. So if we take a look here, I've said, okay, free online marketing tips. And then on the bottom here, I've added these options, and the options are, what do you want to learn? WordPress or Divi. So these are the two options. So if someone comes in and chooses WordPress, I will have a tag or a list which is separate, where I'll know that, okay, every time I create tutorials on WordPress, this is the group I'm going to send my emails to, rather than just sending them both WordPress and Divi, because some may not be interested in the WordPress stuff, but only in the Divi. But now we have that opportunity to separate these two. I hope I'm making sense, because I feel like I'm explaining this too much. So, okay, right. So this is what I created, and creating this is quite straightforward. All you have to do is to come over here to add field, and then you can just add whatever type of field you want. So in this case, it's checkboxes. So I just selected checkboxes, and you can see here now that it's added. So all you have to do is to go in here, give it a category name, and also start adding all your options. Okay, so I'm not going to add any of this for now because it's already set. So my first example here is going to be with our plugin called Bloom. So if you are a member of Elegant Themes, you will have Bloom already. So right now I'm logged into my members area. So I'm just going to come down here so I can show you where it is. So there it is. You don't have to pay any extra to download it. You can just go in and download a Bloom straight onto your computer and start using it. Okay, so installing it is quite straightforward. Again, it is similar to installing any plugin that you install on WordPress anyways. Okay, so once you've downloaded it, all you have to do is to install it on your website. And then now we're going to head over here into our website, and I'll show you how to set it up. Okay, so I'm just going to exit the Visual Builder here. Go into my dashboard. So Bloom is right here, as you can see. I'm going to click on opt-in forms. So you can create one from scratch by coming over here. So you see we have several options. We have pop-in, we have fly-in, we have below post, inline, locked content, and so on. So I went ahead of time and I've created this one. So what I'm going to do now is to go into the settings. Right. So this is where you need to map your integration with your email provider. So in this case, I've chosen Mailchimp. So here it is. And by the way, we have quite a lot to choose from here. We have ActiveCampaign, Aweber, ConvertKit, Emma, and so on. So I've chosen Mailchimp. I've selected my account, and I've also selected my email list. So if you take a look here, you'll notice that free online marketing tips really matches with this one right here, free online marketing tips. So these categories that I've mentioned here are going to be matched when I start setting all this up. Okay. Now, we also have an option now to include the IP address as we collect this information. So if you don't want to do that, we have an option here. So you can just click on that checkbox and it won't collect the IP addresses. And again, that's something to do with the Gdpr that's going on recently. Okay. So once you've done that, now you want to click on design your opt-in. Okay. So I'm not going to go in and spend so much time trying to beautify this and make it all look nice. I'm just going to go to where the important areas are. So if we scroll down here, we'll see now that we have this option called use custom fields. So if I say yes to that, we can now click this plus button and then we can choose our field. So you see, what do you want to learn? That's the field I want to choose now. Okay, so here are the checkboxes. We have WordPress, we have Divi, and we can set this field to be required. And also, we can link this to, let's say, a URL, and we can also add the URL text there if we want. Okay, so I'm just going to say done. And then I'm just going to do a quick preview so we can see. Now we can see that our pop-up now has an option to add the email and also these options, WordPress and Divi. And I think this is really, really cool. This is going to change the way we allow people to opt in onto our mailing list. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for now. I'm just going to check now and see if we have any questions. Right. Okay, we have a question here from, I think it's Zinoli. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. The question is there any chance to have custom double opt-in in Bloom? And the answer to that is yes. Okay, let me just take a look here and see where that option is. Okay, right. So the double opt-in itself is controlled by your autoresponder software, and for quite a few the ones I've used, they do have that option. And as you can see here, I'm in Mailchimp, and if we take a look here on the form settings, it does have double opt-in. Okay, so the way you have to think about this is this now works hand in hand with Bloom. Bloom collects the information and hands it over to Mailchimp or whichever autoresponder software it is. So this is how you need to activate it. So you need to activate it here on your autoresponder software, and then when Bloom, when someone signs in on Bloom, it then allows you to have that double opt-in. Okay, so I hope I've answered that. Let me check if there's any more questions. Castile says, is it mandatory to have checkbox with GDPR? The answer to that is, I'm not 100% sure if it's mandatory, but if it is, the good news is we are able to add this in our latest feature that we have released for these opt-ins. So I'm not really familiar with what needs to be done with GDPR and all that stuff, but what I know is our email opt-in is GDPR compliant, and any features that's required by GDPR, we can do them. So that's what I know, but I'm not sure if it's mandatory. That's what I don't know. But if it is, I can show you how to also add that information. And also, if there is anyone there in the who's on this live stream who knows if this is mandatory, please also do help me by responding in the comments box. Thank you. Right. Okay, moving on. So that is how we connect our form. Now, let's talk about our email opt-in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new page. So I'm going to come to pages, click on add new. Right, let's just call this GDPR 2. Okay, use the Divi builder, and then I'm going to go to the visual builder. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to load a page from one of our layouts. So I'm going to click this plus button to load from library, and I'm just going to choose something from here from the Yoga Studio, and I'll use this layout. So what I'm showing you now is I am going to show you how to use our email opt-in module. Okay, I'm going to delete this first, And then over here, I'm going to add a new section, regular section, and we just need a single column. And in that column, we are going to add our email opt-in like that. Great. So just as I explained in our Bloom module, the same features also apply here on this email opt-in. So let me show you that. So if I come over here to fields, we can see here that we can make a few changes. We can remove the first name if we want to, or the last name, just by clicking the toggle like that. And if I come over here to account, you have to make sure that this is linked with your service provider. And in this case, it's going to be Mailchimp. And over here, I'm going to select a list. So I created a list called GDPR. Okay. So that's what I need to connect with. Okay. And then next, I'm going to come over here to fields. So as soon as you connect your email account to your email provider, automatically you get this thing, this option here, use custom fields. So now you can say yes, and then you can add your custom field here. So I'm going to click on choose field, and then I created one called privacy policy. Okay, so this privacy policy one that I created, in fact, let me show you where it is so that it doesn't get confusing. So I'm going to come back over here to the lists, and I'm going to go to this GDPR, sign up forms, form builder. Okay, so what I did here was I just added this privacy policy by just adding a checkbox over here, and then I gave it the title of privacy policy, and I just also added this I agree with the terms. So that is how this is appearing here. Okay, now what you can also do here is, if you go to the field options, we now have an option to add a link to our privacy policy page. So if I click this link here, I can add my URL. So it could be, say, diviuniversity.com/privacy policy. But for now, I'm just going to add a blank link, and we can also add the link text. Okay. So we can either add it or not. So if you take a look here, we now have this little icon that shows us that there is something over there, but we can also say read it here, just like that. And then now you can see it's right there and it's underlined. Okay. So this is how you can easily add the consent on the actual opt-in. And this is really, really good because it just makes it easier for you to apply any of these things that are required by GDPR at any point. So this is what I meant by when I said the email opt-in is also GDPR ready. And again, it allows to keep a record of all the consents. So let's say someone later on says, or they try to sue you and say, I did not give you consent to send me these emails. This data now, as soon as someone clicks on that checkbox, that data is stored as consent. So anytime you want to visit that, you can actually, retrieve that information in case maybe there is a problem in the future regarding people complaining about receiving, emails or whatever complaint it is. Okay, so I'm just going to check one more time here and take a look at the comments. Right, Atif says, I'm guessing you can create a checkbox like, please confirm that you've read our privacy policy and link to the privacy policy. Yes, that's what I've just showed you right now in my example. So yes, you can also link to the privacy policy page. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, I don't see more questions. Tran says the sound in the live session was a bit small. What do you mean by that? Do you mean you can't hear me clearly, or do you want me to increase the gain on my mic? Not sure what you mean. Okay, right. I'm also going to check here on Facebook. Rohan says, Mac, can you please rewind? I just got here. Oh, something very important here. Karen says, if you communicate online with anyone in the EU, it is mandatory to have a checkbox. Wow, so that's something that I didn't know. So there you have it. If you communicate online with anyone in the EU, it's mandatory to have this box. So I guess this is a big deal. So to all of you who want to capture emails, well, this is mandatory. So you have to make sure that you add this. And the good news is we now have the option to add this mandatory feature on your opt-in and your email boxes. Okay, let's take a look here. Now, Karen says, what do you recommend doing for clients who do not do email marketing? Which form design is best, or just I agree checkbox? Now, if you don't do any email marketing, I think all you have to do is to have a privacy policy page, which just pretty much explains how your website works in terms of maybe collecting cookies and how you process the data. So I think that's enough. But if you are collecting that information, then I think that's where you want to add that consent box, because they are giving you like information like their name, email address, and if you collect also information like phone numbers and all of that, you know, that is where you want to have that consent box. Okay, let's take a look here. Right, I'm just going to check again on Facebook. It's JR, you're late today. Okay, but anyway, it's nice to see you. It's nice that you're here. Fantastic. Okay, Rose says, do you create the actual policy on Word document and then embed it onto Mailchimp, or do you create a page or not? Okay, right, Rose, it's there's a new feature now in WordPress where you can create your privacy policy page quite easily. So let me show you quickly how you can do that. So I'm just going to come over here to my website. So now that we've done this, I can go ahead and save. Okay. So to create your privacy policy, you want to come over here to your dashboard. I'm going to save and exit for now. Okay. So what you want to do is to go to settings, and then you want to scroll down here until you see privacy and click on that. Okay. So now you have the ability to create your privacy policy page. So to do that, if you have a page that you've already created, you can just go ahead and do that. But you can create a new one by coming over here to create a new privacy policy page. And what WordPress has done is they have given us quite a bit of the information that's required for the privacy policy page. I know right now it looks like it's a bit jumbled. All you have to do is to go into your Divi builder and then click on Use Visual Builder. So now you can see how it's all laid out correctly. Okay, it's just taking a bit of time to load. Right, so that's your page. So this is where now you can go in and just clean it up a little bit. If you want to change the font, you can go in and change the font. But basically, this is the privacy policy that comes with WordPress. And, you know, if you want to take time to read it, you can go ahead and read it. But it pretty much covers, you know, how WordPress works and, you know, how the data is processed, whatever. And also, once you've created this page, all you got to do is to save and publish it. And then what I would do is I would add a link to the privacy policy on the bottom of my page, just to make sure that if people want to read it, they can always go to that link, and it links to this page. So there's no need to make a PDF and do all that stuff. And also, you mentioned that do you have to upload it to, say, Mailchimp? Now, Mailchimp is also GDPR compliant, so they also have their documents. Their information on how they also handle that data. So since you are using that platform, their GDPR also covers you as well. So that just works, in line. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let me just check if there's more questions here. ER says GDPR compliance for only EU country, ? From what I've heard, if you are in America, and this is just an example, if you're in America and you're doing business or you're collecting emails from people in Europe, you have to be GDPR compliant. I think that's from how I understand it. So as you know, if you build your website, pretty much it's global. You are going to get people subscribing from all over Europe. Like, for example, on my own website, I know for a fact I have people, signing up from Holland, from all sorts of countries. So if you are in America and you have those people signing up onto your mailing list, you are going to be GDPR compliant. I hope that makes sense. And if I'm wrong, if someone could go in and also correct me, please. Right. Okay. Jalal says how to update Bloom to start having this new feature. Okay, if I haven't mentioned, this is a feature that was released last week. So you need to make sure that you go to Bloom and update and download the latest one. And if you're already using Bloom, you need to make sure that you're running the latest update of Bloom. And also, Divi has an update, so you need to make sure you're running the latest. So every time we do these Divi feature updates, you need to make sure you're running the latest version of the plugins or the theme itself. Arturus, I think, says, "Hey Max, sorry if I've missed, but can you add links or checkboxes on a regular contact form?" Yes, you can. You can do that. We've always had this feature. The feature that I'm talking about today is for our email opt-in and also the Bloom plugin. But you can have all this as well. And also, I do also want to mention that with this update, you also have what is it called? I just forgot it now. Let me just go back and just check and make sure I know what I'm talking about here. Oh, conditional logic. That's what I meant to say. The email opt-in also has conditional logic, and also on the Bloom opt-in, we also have conditional logic. So that's really cool. So what you could do is you could say, if someone chooses, let's say option A, more information can be revealed based on what they choose. So this is something that we had on our contact form module, but now is on our email opt-in and also on Bloom, which is fantastic. Okay, right. Let me just check if we have more questions. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here on Facebook as well. Rohan says, does anyone have issues with local by Flywheel? Actually, Rohan, I use local by Flywheel. In fact, this demo that I'm doing right now is is on local by Flywheel, but it does have a bit of problems here and there when you use it. So you may find that some features don't actually load on correctly, and you have to keep refreshing or close the site and then reload it again. Okay. If you're just joining us, this is the Divi feature update live, broadcasting every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern, and we do our live streams both on Facebook and YouTube. So this is the show where we go into detail about the features that would have been released, the previous days or the previous week, and help you implement these in your designs and pretty much help you understand how to use them. And again, if you have questions, this is the opportunity where you can ask me questions, and if I can answer them, I can always, give you those answers. Okay, now let's move on to something else which I think is very important, and I heard about this in somewhere where about the GDPR, about IP address logging. So this is where when people come to your website or they log in, you have the ability to log their IP address. So this is something, again, that needs to be declared, or if it's something that you don't want to do on your website, we have a feature. That feature has been removed. So you don't have to worry about explaining if IP logging is on your Divi website or not, because that's not there anymore. It's been taken off. So that means, again, that part of the GDPR, we are compliant. Okay. Now, let's talk about loading third-party services like Google Fonts. So we now have updated Divi, and there is an option now where you can go ahead and disable these third-party services. So let me show you where that is. So I am going to come over here to my site, go to my dashboard. Okay, I'll just save and exit. Right. So what you want to do is to come all the way here to Divi theme options. Okay. So if you scroll down here, this is where your options are. So right there, you can disable Google Fonts by just clicking on disable, and then these won't be loaded when you are running your website. Okay, so that's the option that we've added for you there. Right, so these are the two main ones: the IP address logging, and also if you're not happy with running third-party services like Google Fonts, we also have the option to disable it. Okay, so let's take a look one more time here and see if we have more questions. Uncle Social says, I wish Elegant Themes would protect their brands more. Elegant Marketplace, Divi Cake, Divi Soup, etc. It's all confusing. There is a what's the word? There is a way that we are supposed to be using the Divi branding itself. And for anyone that uses Divi in their domain, you also have to declare on the bottom of your website that that website is not associated with Divi, the main company itself. So there are some guidelines there, but I can see why you're saying it may be confusing. Manuj says how to locate API key in Mailchimp. Okay, I can show you that. Right, let me show you how to do that. Okay, so to locate your API, what you want to do is to come over here to the top, click on account, and then you want to come over here to extras. And then you get your option for the API key. Now, I'm not going to click on API because I don't want my API key to be, of course, visible online just for security purposes. Okay, but that's how you do it. You come over here to the top, and then you want to click in your profile, and then you come to API keys. Okay. Let's take a look if we have any more questions. Michael says, will the main points of this broadcast be published in a post? The answer to that, Michael, is yes. If you go to the bottom of the description of this live stream, there's a link to the full post, so you can actually go to the post, and it covers pretty much everything that I'm talking about today. And also, for those of you who joined us quite late, you're also able to watch a replay of this live stream. So we always keep our live stream on online, both on Facebook and YouTube, so you can always go back and watch them. Okay, so let me just go over here to Facebook and see if we have questions. Karen says, I read on Divi yesterday that you can still download the Google font on your own computer and upload it to Divi that way. Yes, we have that feature where you can actually download whatever font you want to use and then upload it onto Divi. So that way you don't have to keep loading, all these Google fonts on your website. So thanks a lot for that, Karen. Okay, let's take a look here. Rose says, I am with Divi, but not Divi Cake. Does it provide a lot more themes? Rose, Divi Cake is just like a marketplace where you can buy child themes. But, these child themes, they just help you get a very good starting point when you design your websites. But if you go into your library as well, into your Divi library, we also release 2 layouts, pre-made layouts, every single week. So there are a ton of those there as well. But if there's something that you like elsewhere, you can always go there and buy it from there. Okay. Right. So pretty much we covered everything that, for our Divi feature update live today. So I'd like to say to everyone out there, if you're in the UK, today is a bank holiday. I'd like to say enjoy your bank holiday. And to everybody else, enjoy the rest of your week. And I will see you again next week, Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern, where we talk about another Divi feature update. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you still have any more questions, please do leave them in the comments box, and I will do my best to go in and respond to those questions. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care.